philosophers criticize the devotees because they think that most of the devotees are in the darkness of ignorance and are philosophically naive sentimentalists. Actually, that is not the fact. There are very, very learned scholars who have put forward the philosophy of devotion. But even if a devotee does not take advantage of their literatures or of his spiritual master, if he is sincere in his devotional service, he is helped by Krishna himself within his heart. So the sincere devotee engaged in Krishna consciousness cannot be without knowledge. The only qualification is that one carry out devotional service in full Krishna consciousness. The modern philosophers think that without discriminating, one cannot have pure knowledge. For them, this answer is given by the Supreme Lord. Those who are engaged in pure devotional service, even though they be without sufficient education and even without sufficient knowledge of the Vedic principles, are still helped by the Supreme God, as stated in this verse. The Lord tells Arjuna that basically there is no possibility of understanding the supreme truth, the absolute truth, the supreme personality of Godhead simply by speculating. No. For the supreme truth is so great that it is not possible to understand him or to achieve him simply by making a mental effort. Man can go on speculating for millions of years, and if he is not devoted, if he is not a lover of the supreme truth, he will never understand Krishna or the supreme truth. Only by devotional service is the supreme truth, Krishna, pleased, and by his inconceivable energy, he can reveal himself to the heart of the pure devotee. The pure devotee always has Krishna within his heart. And with the presence of Krishna, who is just like the sun, the darkness of ignorance is at once dissipated. This is the special mercy rendered to the pure devotee by Krishna. Due to the contamination of material association through many, many millions of births, one's heart is always covered with the dust of materialism. But when one engages in devotional service and constantly chants Hare Krishna, the dust quickly clears and one is elevated to the platform of pure knowledge. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. Wow, we should take notice of that statement. That's very, very edifying. It's very, very wonderful statement. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavat Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shrimad Bhagavad Gita Grantaraja Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gurudev Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Are there any questions, comments about what we just heard? Our takeaway from today. The ultimate goal, Vishnu, can be attained only by this chant and by devotional service, and not by mental speculation or argument. The pure devotee does not have to worry about the material necessities of life. That's a great statement. You don't have to worry about the necessities of life. He need not be anxious, because when he removes the darkness from his heart, everything is provided automatically by the Supreme Lord, who is pleased by the loving devotional service of the devotee. This is the essence of the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. By studying Bhagavad Gita, one can become a soul completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord and engage himself in pure devotional service. As the Lord takes charge, one becomes completely free from all kinds of materialistic endeavors. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Okay, we'll go on to the next verses. Text 12 and 13, you can repeat. Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Sasvatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devasir Niradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravissime. Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal transcendental. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirmed this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. In these two verses, the Supreme Lord gives a chance to the modern philosopher, for here it is clear that the Supreme is different from the individual soul. Arjuna, after hearing the essential 4 verses of Bhagavad Gita, in this chapter, became completely free from all doubts and accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He at once boldly declared, "You are the Param Brahma, the Supreme Personality of Godhead." And previously Krishna stated that He is the originator of everything and everyone. Every demigod and every human being is dependent on Him, Krishna. Men and demigods, out of ignorance, think that they are absolute and independent of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That ignorance is removed perfectly by the discharge of devotional service. This has already been explained in the previous verse by the Lord. Now, by His grace, Arjuna is accepting him as the supreme truth in concordance with the Vedic injunction. It is not that because Krishna is Arjuna's intimate friend, Arjuna is flattering the Lord by calling him the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth. Whatever Arjuna says in these two verses is confirmed by Vedic truth. Vedic injunctions affirm that only one who takes to devotional service to the Supreme Lord can understand the Lord Krishna, whereas others cannot. Each and every word of this verse spoken by Arjuna is confirmed by Vedic injunctions. In the Kena Upanishad, it is stated that the Supreme Brahman is the rest for everything. And Krishna has already explained that everything is resting on Him. In whom everything is resting can be realized only by those who engage constantly in thinking of Him. Him means Krishna, right? This constant thinking of Krishna is samaranam, one of the methods of devotional service. Smaranam. It is only by devotional service to Krishna that one can understand his position, and get rid of this material body. In the Vedas, the Supreme Lord is accepted as the purest of the pure. One who understands that Krishna is the purest of the pure can become purified from all sinful activities. One cannot be disinfected. That means purified. From sinful activities unless he surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. Arjuna's acceptance of Krishna as the supreme pure complies with the injunctions of Vedic literature. In other words, it does not. It's not contrary to what has been said already in the Vedic literature. It's completely in sync with Vedic knowledge. This is also confirmed by great personalities, of whom Narada Muni is the chief. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon Him and enjoy one's transcendental relationship with Him. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth and death, Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all the Vedic literatures, the Puranas, and histories. In all Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord himself also says in the 4th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for he is the cause of all causes. And everything is emanating from him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord. Here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements of these 2 verses. This is called the parampara system. Acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of the academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Krishna is not an ordinary person. He's the Supreme Personality Godhead, although he is appearing as if he is an ordinary person in order to edify or give knowledge to people by associating with them and teaching them what is the correct things to do in life. And Arjuna is his number 1 devotee. So if we follow in the footsteps of Arjuna in his relationship with Krishna, our life will be perfect. And we will be able, like Arjuna, to attain eternal life in the spiritual world because of developing love and devotion for Krishna. So it says here Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these 2 verses. What are the 2 verses? Arjuna said, you are the Supreme Personality Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa confirm this truth about you, and now you are yourself also declaring it to me. Arjuna uvacha param brahma param dhamma pavitram paramam bhavan purusham sasvatam divyam adidevam ajam vibhum ahustvam rishaya sarve devasir naradastata asito devalo vyasa swayam chaiva bravissime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you. And now, you yourself are declaring it to me." So this is wonderful verse to know that Arjuna is Krishna's eternal servant, and Krishna is the supreme absolute truth. And therefore, Arjuna, and this point of the Bhagavad Gita, it completely surrenders to Krishna after having asked him so many questions, and Krishna answered all his questions. Now there are no more questions. Arjuna completely surrenders and says, "Param Brahma, Param Dhamma, Pavitram, Paramam Bhavan, Purusham, Saswatam Divyam, Adidevam, Ajam Vibhum, Anustvam, Rishaya Sarve, Devasir Naradastata, Asito Devalo Vyasa, Swayam Chaiva, Bravissime." Arjuna said, and now this is Arjuna's what you would call mature understanding of who Krishna is. "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai. Shrimad Bhagavatam ki jai. So, and Bhagavad Gita Grantaraj ki jai. We're very fortunate to be hearing these verses and purports by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. And if we take this knowledge seriously, it will give us eternal life in the spiritual world. So our takeaway from today is the following. Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and one should always meditate upon Him and enjoy one's transcendental relation. And enjoy one's transcendental relationship with Him. He is the supreme existence. He is free from bodily needs, birth and death. In other words, He never takes birth and never dies. Not only does Arjuna confirm this, but all Vedic literatures, the Puranas and histories, in all Vedic literatures, Krishna is thus described, and the Supreme Lord Himself also says in the 4th chapter, "Although I am unborn, I appear on this earth to establish religious principles. He is the supreme origin. He has no cause, for He is the cause of all causes, and everything is emanating from Him. This perfect knowledge can be had by the grace of the Supreme Lord." Here, Arjuna expresses himself through the grace of Krishna. If we want to understand Bhagavad Gita, we should accept the statements in these two verses. This is called parampara system, acceptance of the disciplic succession. Unless one is in the disciplic succession, he cannot understand Bhagavad Gita. It is not possible by so-called academic education. Unfortunately, those proud of their academic education, despite so much evidence in Vedic literatures, stick to their obstinate conviction that Krishna is an ordinary person. That, of course, is a false statement. Krishna is not an ordinary person. He's the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And these two verses that are indicated in the purport are Arjuna Uvacha Param Brahma Param Dhamma Pavitram Paramam Bhavan Purusham Saswatam Divyam Adidevam Ajam Vibhum Ahustvam Rishaya Sarve Devasir Naradastata Asito Devalo Vyasa Swayam Chaiva Bravissime. Arjuna said, "You are the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the ultimate abode, the purest, the absolute truth. You are the eternal, transcendental, original person, the unborn, the greatest. All the great sages, such as Narada, Asita, Devala, and Vyasa, confirm this truth about you. And now you yourself are declaring it to me." Text number 14. We'll just go for this next verse and then we'll stop. Sarvam etad ritam manye yanmam vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidur deva nadanava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. A very great statement here. Purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Arjuna herein confirms that persons of faithless and demoniac nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods. So, what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita as described in the 4th chapter. Parampara. The parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost, and therefore Krishna reestablished that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he, Krishna, considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction, to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita, should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance of Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita. And then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So at one point in history, the parampara was lost. And now Krishna is going to rehabilitate the parampara by choosing Arjuna to rejuvenate it. Now, one would say, well, why Arjuna? I mean, he's a grihasta, and he is a warrior. He's a killer. He kills people. So why him? Why don't you choose some pundits? Why Arjuna? Because Arjuna was a pure devotee. That's why. Completely surrendered to Krishna. Even a pundit may not be completely surrendered to Krishna. He might know a lot about Krishna, but may not necessarily be completely surrendered to Krishna. But Arjuna, even though he was a warrior, meaning he was a killer, but he would only kill on the basis of protecting the society and getting rid of unholy people. He did not kill in order to gain property, money, etc. His only purpose was to protect the Sanatan Dharma culture. Okay, so then here it says that Krishna reestablished the disciplic succession with Arjuna. Now, Arjuna was not a big pundit. He was not a great big philosopher, but he was completely surrendered to Krishna. So Krishna, in order to reestablish the parampara, chose Arjuna over all the other great pundits in the world, because Arjuna was surrendered to Krishna, and because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. What is the parampara system? It is coming from most ancient time, when Krishna first spoke Bhagavad Gita 5,000 years ago. And now he developed what's called the parampara, that one person, he spoke Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, then Arjuna spoke Bhagavad Gita to others, and the others spoke Bhagavad Gita to others, like that, without changing anything, without adding anything, and without subtracting anything. They simply are teaching Bhagavad Gita as it is, yata rup in Sanskrit. Right? Therefore, the Bhagavad Gita is bona fide. Now, there are many other Bhagavad Gitas that people write, but they're not bona fide because they put their own theories and speculations in the explanations of Bhagavad Gita. But His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, our Gurudev, he has given Bhagavad Gita yata rup, as it is, without adding or subtracting anything and without speculating anything. Therefore, when we read Bhagavad Gita with the commentary of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, we are getting the absolute truth of Bhagavad Gita. There are many other Bhagavad Gitas, hundreds, thousands. Bhagavad Gita has been translated since, for thousands of years, right? But Bhagavad Gita Yatarup, as it is by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, with his purports and the original verses, is absolutely the truth of Bhagavad Gita. It is not in any way adulterated by theories or personal speculations. Okay. So it says here, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita. See, that's a very important statement. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita. Why? Because he was perfect in following the principles of Krishna consciousness. As described in the 4th chapter, the parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost, and therefore Krishna reestablished that disciplic succession with Arjuna, because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita-upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. Then we can understand. Emulated means we should follow what is being said. Right? Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Are there any questions? Any questions or comments? Okay, no questions. Yeah, go ahead. Yes, Hare Krishna. Speak louder. When you talk to who?
Nonsense people, like material people, they say that you have wasted your life, you have not even given anything to your child because you never enjoyed anything. So of course we don't have to talk to them. And they, like, people say that, whenever we feel like we sleep, whenever we feel like we sit all day before the TV and watch. So for such people, we should not be even talking. Right? The people who are saying that you are not a bonded labor, you should do whatever your heart says. You don't have to, you're free, you can do anything you feel like you want to do this, you continue doing that. So how there are such a strong paradoxical, like, because...
It's called ignorance. There's an epidemic of ignorance in the world today. So people are not accepting the bona fide statements of Krishna and the Vaishnava acharyas. So they're ignoring what is the truth and merely going along, preparing themselves to go to hell. Now, when you go to hell, it's not the end. I mean, Christians, they don't understand. They've made these lies, such as, if you go to hell, that's it, you can never get out. No. Because there are certain personalities like Narada Muni and others that go to hell and preach and save the people in hell and bring them back. the Christians haven't understood this. Right? So, therefore, Krishna consciousness has the full truth of how to have a spiritual life, even in this Kali Yuga, the worst period of time in history, and also make tangible spiritual progress and go back to the spiritual world. Okay, so yeah, we should all follow the path of Arjuna. Arjuna accepted Krishna as his guru. So we have to accept a guru also. And not only one guru, you can have several gurus. Only one initiating guru, but there can also be other gurus who are teacher gurus that help us understand Krishna consciousness. And in that way, you have the initiating guru and you have the teacher gurus. So that's like guru all the time. And but the guru has to be bona fide. That means the guru is giving the example of no meat eating, no gambling, no illicit sex, no intoxication, and always chanting Hare Krishna, Maha Mantra, and regularly, every day, reading Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam and so forth. So that's a real guru. You know by the activities of such a person. He doesn't go to nightclubs, he doesn't go to anywhere where there are nonsense people. He only associates with other devotees and always talks about Krishna. So that's a bona fide guru. And the bona fide guru, by his example, will help you become also a bona fide devotee. The devotee has to be bona fide, and the guru has to be bona fide. Then everything works very nicely. If the guru is bona fide, but the disciple is nonsense, that's not good. The disciple also has to be bona fide. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes. Yeah. Okay.
Sanjay says, right, wherever Lord Krishna is there,
They say what?
wherever Lord Krishna is there, success is guaranteed.
Yeah.
And also Guru Maharaj, truth always wins.
What?
Truth always wins, right?
Okay, yes.
So why is it like when you get life reversals, then you seem to feel that you are getting lost? You lost it and you lose it. So why is that happening?
You're being tested. You see, just like you go to school, and then there are tests to see if you've been doing your homework and if you understand, what the book is, of knowledge is saying, right? The same way, in spiritual life, we're all going to be tested to see if we've actually understood the teachings of Bhagavad Gita or not, right? So we're always going to be tested. Just like the devotees of Krishna, they were tested severely, right? They had to go and incognito and all these things. They were tested. But they passed the test because they always had faith in their Guru and Krishna. And even in the most horrible situations, they did not give up Krishna consciousness. So therefore, they passed the test. So there are tests for, let's say, new devotees. But as you become more and more advanced in Krishna consciousness, the test becomes harder and harder. You see, it doesn't become easier and easier, it becomes harder and harder. And if you pass all the tests, then you will never fall down. So we should not be afraid of being tested. We should be afraid of forgetting Krishna. That's the worst thing you can do, is forget Krishna. When you forget Krishna, then you become completely nonsense person. But if you always remember Krishna and not be disturbed by the different tests that are taking place, you go back to Godhead. Okay. So if we simply follow in the footsteps of Arjuna to understand Krishna, our life will be perfect. That's why we're reading Bhagavad Gita. We're reading about Arjuna. We're reading about what he was experiencing. And we're reading about how Krishna is related to him. So all this is mercy to be able to hear this. We're not hearing about, baseball, football, basketball, all that nonsense. We're hearing about Arjuna and his relationship with Krishna. That is most auspicious literature. So therefore, we should hear very carefully every day the pastimes of Arjuna and Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita and in Srimad Bhagavatam. Any other questions?
So, Guru Maharaj, in this verse, Amanitvam, Adamitvam, Ahimsa, Kshantirarjuna, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the object of sense gratification, absence of false ego, perception of evil of birth, death, old age and disease, detachment. Specifically, saying freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest. Even-mindedness amid pleasant and unpleasant events. This is constant and unalloyed devotion to me, aspiring to live in a solitary place. Detachment from the general mass of people. Accepting the importance of self-realization. And philosophical search for the absolute truth. All these I declare to be knowledge, and besides this, whatever there may be is ignorance.
What is your question?
So the question is, Guru Maharaj, that I seem to understand what is written here.
What?
I seem to understand what is written here, but how to actually follow all these qualities?
You don't have to follow all those qualities. If you simply chant your rounds every day and follow the principles of Krishna consciousness, all those qualities will be developed naturally. If you're not able to follow all the principles of Krishna consciousness, you will not develop those qualities. So you just follow the qualities, chanting, dancing, feasting, hearing Bhagavad Gita, preaching, and then all these great qualities that you just enumerated there will develop naturally. You don't have to individually try and develop each one of those. They will all come naturally by the fact of your surrender to Krishna and sincere devotional service to Krishna. Then all the qualities will come. And it says that here. Let's see, where does it say that? Yeah, sarvamita dritam manye yanman vadasi keshava nahite bhagavan vyaktim vidirdeva nadanava. O Krishna, I totally accept as truth all that you have told me. Neither the demigods nor the demons, O Lord, can understand your personality. Purport: Arjuna here confirms that persons of faithless and demoniac nature cannot understand Krishna. He is not known even by the demigods. So, what to speak of the so-called scholars of this modern world? By the grace of the Supreme Lord, Arjuna has understood that the supreme truth is Krishna and that he is the perfect one. One should therefore follow the path of Arjuna. There it is. We should all follow the path of Arjuna. That's why we're reading about Arjuna in the Bhagavad Gita and his relationship with Krishna and the path that he has taken. He received the authority of Bhagavad Gita. He was chosen by Krishna to rejuvenate the Bhagavad Gita, because at one point 5,000 years ago, the Bhagavad Gita was more or less lost. Right? So, because Krishna is in charge of Bhagavad Gita, he chose Arjuna to rejuvenate it and make it again, read and followed in this world. Therefore, it says, Arjuna received the authority of Bhagavad Gita. As described in the 4th chapter, the parampara system of disciplic succession for the understanding of Bhagavad Gita was lost 5,000 years ago. And therefore, Krishna reestablished that disciplic succession with Arjuna because he considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Now, don't forget, Arjuna was a warrior. He's a killer. He goes and kills people, but not for his selfish purposes, but for protecting Sanatana Dharma. So why would someone choose a killer as the person to rejuvenate Krishna consciousness? Well, because Krishna says that Arjuna was his intimate friend and a great devotee. So that was his qualification, intimate friend of Krishna and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. Why? Because he's a friend of Krishna, or intimate friend of Krishna, and a great devotee, regardless of the fact that he is a killer, right? But he doesn't kill for himself, for self-aggrandizement. He only kills demons who are trying to destroy Krishna consciousness. The acceptance by Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. In other words, we should accept, just like Arjuna accepts everything Krishna says, we should follow Arjuna and accept everything that Krishna says. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Arjuna is the quintessential example that we should follow. He was confused. He didn't know what to do. So he decided to surrender to Krishna and be educated by him and become his devotee. We should follow Arjuna's footsteps. And he became the rejuvenator of the Vedic knowledge because it was lost. And Krishna chose him to rejuvenate the Vedic knowledge, even though he was a Kshatriya, he was not a Pandit. So, we have to carefully read the purports and understand what's happening. Krishna considered Arjuna his intimate friend and a great devotee. Therefore, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita, as stated in our introduction to Gita Upanishad, Bhagavad Gita should be understood in the parampara system. When the parampara system was lost, Arjuna was selected to rejuvenate it. The acceptance of Arjuna of all that Krishna says should be emulated. In other words, we should follow Arjuna's example, everything that he has done. Then we can understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita And then only can we understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So we need a guru like Arjuna and follow in his footsteps. Hare Krishna. Okay, any other questions?
In summary, everything, whatever is happening in this world, we should just surrender to Krishna, Krishna's plan, and let the good things or bad things, they just pass by as a test. Because sometimes good things can also be a test. And just focus on chanting. And not worry about this is wrong, that is wrong, or this is good, this is.
Everything is bad in the material world. Nothing is good. Prabhupada said that. Everything is, even things look good, but they're not really good. Right? Some people think, oh, this is very good. You know, we have a new Tesla. No, it's not good. It's a junk car. It looks good. It might drive good for a little while, but eventually it becomes junk. So it's not really good. What's good is what is eternal. That's good. Therefore, Tesla is not good. And mundane people are not good. And skyscrapers are not good, because they will also be destroyed too. So we should only deal with what is sat, meaning eternal. And if we are going to deal with things that are not eternal, then we have to engage them in things that are eternal, so that they become purified. And that's what we do when we preach. We're preaching to unholy people and helping them to become purified so they can become devotees. But you have to be prepared. You have to be educated to be able to do that. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada was educated, so he was able to make thousands and thousands of devotees, right? That's how powerful Krishna consciousness is when it is properly followed. And the example is following Prabhupada's example. Right? He started with nothing, $7 in his pocket. And he ended up with millions and millions of dollars, many, many temples and devotees, and it's still continuing. All by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada. That's how powerful a person can be when they become a pure devotee. So we should try and become pure devotees as much as we can and engage in devotional service activities of Krishna consciousness and avoid nonsense people and avoid sense gratification. When you eat nice prasadam, it's sense gratification, but it's based on serving Krishna. So prasadam is not a mundane thing if it's made properly and offered properly to the Lord. And then when you take prasadam, it is not like eating just mundane food. Now you're dealing with a transcendental substance that can purify you and help you to go back to Godhead. We have to have that faith. We have to act also. Therefore, we should always respect prasadam reverently. It's not just ordinary food. Okay, thank you very much, my dear devotees. It's getting late. It's going to be 10 o'clock soon. Wow. So we have to take rest and wake up early. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Let's put this drum back where it belongs.